Bill O'Reilly here, Monday, January 27th, 2020. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening today in America. The nation mourns Kobe Bryant and his young daughter. Latest polling puts Bernie Sanders on top in Iowa. China quarantines millions to stop the coronavirus. John Bolton writes about Trump Biden. Restaurants in San Francisco introduce a new climate change surcharge. Also ahead, is anything fair about impeachment? But first, NBA superstar Kobe Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter killed yesterday in a helicopter crash north of Los Angeles. I knew Mr. Bryant a little bit and have posted a message about him on BillO'Reilly.com. He was a dynamic individual and loved his children exceptionally. Latest polls from Iowa showing Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders opening up a lead with a week to go before the vote. The survey from the New York Times has Sanders at 25%, followed by Pete Buttigieg, 18%, Joe Biden, 17%, Elizabeth Warren, 15%. Chinese officials quarantined more than 56 million people across 14 different cities to stop the spread of the deadly coronavirus. Beijing confirming the deaths of 41 people without disclosing the number infected. Scientists believe the outbreak began at a Chinese seafood market in the city of Wuhan, population 11 million. The impeachment trial entering its second week in the U.S. Senate. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton apparently has written that President Trump did hold up aid to Ukraine over the Joe Biden situation. That will be a headline this week. San Francisco diners will soon pay a bit more for their meals. A new climate change surcharge will be at the bottom of your restaurant bill. The 1% tax is supposed to go to the Restore California program, a plan to provide regional farmers funds to build green buildings, whatever they may be, and transition from fossil fuels. Now, the climate change tax is optional for restaurants. They are not forced by the state to put the 1% tax on your bill. In a moment, is there anything fair? Anything at all about this impeachment thing? Right back with the message of the day. When an emergency strikes, what is your first impulse? If your answer is run to the grocery store, you'll likely find chaos and nothing but empty shelves. How do you avoid that? It's simple. You use today to make a plan, to prepare. One practical place to start is storing food in your home. That way you're protected in case there's a natural disaster, civil unrest, or a long-term power outage. I experienced that during Sandy. Now, I trust and use my Patriot Supply for my food storage. You should too. Start with this, a 2-week food supply. Save 45% today when you go to my special website, prepareLikeBill.com. These tasty breakfast, lunches, and dinners last up to 25 years in storage. And My Patriot Supply ships them fast and discreetly right to your door with guaranteed 2-day delivery. Act now so you're prepared at preparelikebill.com. preparelikebill.com. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day as the impeachment thing enters its second week. So Democrats are demanding a fair impeachment trial in the Senate where President Trump must be found guilty. If he's not removed from office, that's not fair, according to the Dems. Got it? It's exactly like affluent Americans paying their fair share in taxes. Is 50% of your income fair? No? 60%? Keep going. The left-wing fairness doctrine is kind of like a little kid deciding how many Skittles to eat. What's the fair amount? All of them. That's what. Whatever I want is fair. The media, most of it anyway, wants Mr. Trump expelled, but the word fair is not often used in press circles anymore. That's because an even-handed examination of news stories will never again happen in America because the press is so proud of its liberal activism, there isn't even an attempt to fake objectivity these days. Wait, I'm not being fair. Recently, the Washington Post assigned a radical left columnist to criticize Rachel Maddow, a radical left TV commentator. The Post knows its reputation as an objective provider of information is in tatters, so the editors came up with that. Everybody got a good giggle out of it, with the possible exception of Miss Maddow. I think it is entirely possible that no one in the United States of America believes the impeachment exposition is fair. Certainly those who support President Trump see no even-handedness in the exercise, and the resistance against Mr. Trump can't possibly see any fairness in his likely acquittal. So finally, all Americans agree on a political issue. Impeachment is not fair. Common ground at last. And while we're on the subject, was the hysteria surrounding the Russian collusion allegations fair to Donald Trump and his administration? Did you see any fairness in that presentation? Maybe Robert Mueller's conclusion was fair, but maybe not, as Mr. Mueller seemed befuddled in the face of his conclusions. This commentary is not about defending the president. He and all other chief executives should be scrutinized. There's nothing unfair about opposing or criticizing any politician unless you embrace dishonesty in the process. But this destructive impeachment thing should not have happened. President Trump can be removed by the voters in 10 months. A partisan play to force him out of office may be legal, but it's certainly not fair, especially to the American people who deserve problem-solving in Congress, not partisan scheming. The old cliche is, fair is fair. The reality is, the entire concept of fairness may be on the verge of obsolescence in America. Fair warning. I'm Bill O'Reilly, and I approve that message by actually writing it. For more news analysis, please visit BillO'Reilly.com, where you can see me each night. In a moment, something you might not know. Computer systems in cars are now common. There are electronically controlled transmissions, touchscreen displays, dozens of sensors. All this advanced tech is expensive to fix if it breaks. That's why I have Car Shield. Car Shield has affordable protection plans that can save you thousands for repairs, including computers, GPS, electronics, and more. With Car Shield, you choose your plan and your favorite mechanic or dealership to do the work. Car Shield takes care of the rest. They also offer 24/7 roadside assistance and a rental car while your car is being fixed. Free. So drive with confidence knowing you have coverage from America's #1 auto protection provider. Get covered by Car Shield today. Please call 800-CAR-6000 and mention code BILL or visit carshield.com and use code BILL to save 10%. That's carshield.com, code BILL. A deductible may apply. Now the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. Today marks the 75th anniversary of the Allied liberation of the Auschwitz concentration camp in Poland during World War II. While no one knows exactly how many people were murdered by the Nazis in the forced labor complex, historians believe more than 1 million perished on the premises, many in the span of a few months. A full exposure on the horrors of Auschwitz is contained in my book, Killing the SS. On January 27, 1945, a band of Soviet soldiers stumbled to the gates of what they thought was an abandoned textile factory. They discovered 50,000 pairs of shoes, 10-foot-tall piles of human hair, oil drums filled with gold teeth. German guards, knowing the war was lost, ordered the remaining prisoners to destroy buildings, burn records, and murder each other to conceal the Nazi war crimes before the Russians got there. Slowly, more than 9,000 survivors exited the 28 barracks used to house inmates at Auschwitz. They were left abandoned without food, water, and heat for nearly 3 weeks. Prisoners included Hitler's political enemies, communists, prisoners of war, homosexuals, and mentally disabled, but mostly Jewish civilians who had done absolutely nothing to deserve their fate. The average life expectancy for all prisoners at Auschwitz, less than 30 days. For those over 60 years of age, about 2 hours. At its height, the Third Reich operated 42,000 concentration camps between 1933 and 1945. The network spanned from France to Russia, jailing more than 750,000 people at any given moment. Historians estimate 15 to 20 million human beings were either murdered or imprisoned at these sites. And here's something you might not know. During the liberation of Auschwitz and other Nazi death camps, survivors spontaneously began singing Hatikva, a popular 19th century poem about the Jewish people's eventual return to Jerusalem. In Hebrew, the title means the hope, and it is the official national anthem of the State of Israel today. Back after this. You've heard me talk about urchins, the kids. They're obsessed with the machines I rail about. Those cell phones and computers they stare at into day and night, frittering their youth away. But there are times those machines can be quite valuable. If you are 75 or older and you own a life insurance policy worth $100,000 or more, We Buy 75 will appraise it free and help you convert it to cash. But you must pick up your cell phone and call 844-WE-BUY-75 or visit WeBuy75.com. That's WeBuy75.com. Imagine never having to pay a life insurance premium again. There's no better feeling than having the cash you need for all your necessities. You've seen WeBuy75 on TV, heard them on the radio. So use those machines to get a free appraisal of your policy by calling 844-WE-BUY-75 or visiting WeBuy75.com. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.